Hi guys, we are doing a video today on what is it that you need to heal. Earlier this morning I was going through my crystal drawer thing and I realized I had these pendulums, and it gave me this idea to do Reiki with pick a card. And normally you can use these pendulums in many different ways, and Reiki is one of the ways that you can use the pendulum. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to do what is it that you need to be healing, and then incorporate Reiki during it while I'm talking and doing the card readings and stuff, and helping to clear out that energy. So that's what I have going at the moment. I think this is going to be a fun idea. Sorry if you guys can hear my dog in the background. We've been out today, so he is a little hyper still. But we have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. The timestamps will be listed down below in the description box, as well as the decks that we'll be using today. If you guys need a little bit more time to pause the video, go right ahead. All right, pile number 1. If you guys picked this stone, which is this rose quartz, this is representing distant healing, as it's a Reiki symbol that symbolizes distant healing or having no present, past, or future. So I don't even know what these cards are. I just pulled one out and placed it down, so I have no idea what we are going to be working on healing today. But I wanted to briefly just mention my pendulums here. We're going to be incorporating all 3 because all 3 have their own different types of properties that I will be using in the reading. So this is a chevron amethyst, and it is absolutely beautiful. For some reason, I always just seem to get a lot of chevron amethysts. Either they're gifted to me, or I just seem to be drawn to them, or I keep getting them. It's really weird, but this was a gift that I got. I really love this pendulum. It's a beautiful pendulum. This one I had since childhood. It has a huge tie and significance to me, but it is a bloodstone. Very positive. And then, of course, I have this beautiful pendulum as well. And this is jasper, red jasper. So we have this for insight, opening up, being able to clear our senses. Technically, chevron amethyst, or I think it's called tooth hound or something like that as well. It has the white, white quartz, clear quartz, and amethyst infused, and that's what it is. And so it helps bring a lot of clarity and just helps really release anything that maybe be blocking the third eye chakra or the crown chakra. It just helps with releasing old negative stagnant energy. And then this beautiful bloodstone is a very positive stone. It actually helps with it's like an abundance stone. So it's meant for abundance. It represents life. It represents growth, and it helps clear negative energy as well. So it brings in the positivity. So this one kind of helps clear it. I feel like this one helps bring it in. And then, of course, we should always be grounding after every single healing session and anything else that this beautiful stone can do. Honestly, I think this really helps bring people back more to grounding and their own clarity in their own self. So I think that it's really important that we incorporate that. So enough of that. Let's get into it. Ooh, we have choice. So free will, courage, willpower, and change. some of the things that I'm already kind of picking up for you guys is I think that when we are children, right, we sometimes do not realize we do have choices because perhaps people put their opinions on us. They tell us things that we should and shouldn't do. I feel like for a lot of you guys, you have had a situation where perhaps growing up, you never really was able to you were never really just able to just be who you wanted to be. So when we get conditions put upon us, sometimes it can even limit our narrow-minded thinking, where if you notice, a lot of people who don't realize they have choices have a tendency of saying all or nothing, kind of an attitude or a thinking process. So I feel like for this pile, it's really getting rid of the all or nothing mentality, because what I'm getting here is that you guys do have multiple choices, but perhaps you do not see these choices. Because growing up, you were only given so many choices, or at least that's what it felt like. So I do sense that for this pile, growing up, your environment was very repressive. Like there was only certain things that you could do, or people will say, oh, you can only have this or that, but you can't have both. So like you kind of grew up with hearing that a lot. As well as when we don't think we have the power to make choices, we do have a tendency of being kind of a victim due to our circumstances, because we almost feel like we do not have control over choices and circumstances, because we limit ourselves thinking that we only have so many options or so many choices, and then by the end of it all, we ended up realizing that we had choices all along. So let's start clearing some of these issues here, you guys. I do definitely feel like for this group, though, you guys have definitely had people tell you what you can and cannot do. You've been limited with choices. And I think that also because of this, it has stopped you guys from really having true foresight. So you might have a hard time even kind of gaining clarity in things you do want, because when we limit our choices, we also may have this tendency of wanting to limit our own dreams and potential as well, because we do not see it as a possibility. So when we close off to something not being a possibility, oftentimes it never presents itself to us, or it always just seems like it's so out of reach that you just cannot reach for it. You cannot grasp it. And I feel like for this pile, that has been something that you've had to go through. All right, so let's start pulling some more cards here and really get into this reading for you guys. But I'm definitely sensing here for you guys that there was a lack of power that you felt you've had. How's my pile one healing? How are they healing? right. So for my pile number 1, a lot of you guys, when it came to love, perhaps you felt like you didn't have very many choices, or you limited yourself to it has to be one particular person or one particular thing. And I feel that for a lot of you guys, a lot of the struggles that you guys experience is this need to always feel like you're right in some way. It's like you're afraid to make a mistake. You're afraid to do something that you feel like is it's almost like you're afraid of the punishment. So it's easier to not make choices or to not make decisions. And I think that is another reason too. When you make a choice, you oftentimes need to take on the accountability and the responsibility of whatever that outcome becomes. And I do get this sense that for this pile, there is a fear of almost taking responsibility. Not in that you can't take responsibility for certain things that you do. I'm not saying that you guys are not capable of apologizing or not understanding that you did something wrong. But there is this subconscious, deep-seated fear that you may have of being punished. And because of this fear of punishment, this fear of being judged, you guys have a tendency of trying to counteract that by overgiving too much, by being more willing to accommodate others. And this is something that I think has really impacted your guys' life. I think this pile also has a very hard time saying no when you really want to. You always say yes when you really want to say no, or you always say no when you really, or you always say yes when you really want to say no. You're not really true to yourself because choices gives us freedom. And I feel that for a lot of you guys, we always say, everybody does this. Everybody says they want freedom, right? But when they get this freedom, they don't know what to do with this freedom. And it really scares people. And so they fear freedom, essentially, because they fear making choices. And if we are always consciously aware of every single opportunity or choice that comes to us every single day, I don't think we could fully function. Because every little choice you make or every little decision you make can lead you to a whole new life or a whole new decision altogether. And so I feel like you guys really do not see the options before you, and this is a big block because you have an infinity amount of opportunities and options. You have an abundance of it, but yet you draw a blind eye to it. It's hard for you to notice every little thing that could help you. And I know at the beginning I forgot to ask for permission, but if you have the right to take in and clear out this energy. But if you are just here for the reading, you're here for the reading. But I thought Why not we clear up some of this negativity and release it? Some of you guys are really afraid of resisting this change. I do get the sense that for you guys, you've felt like you're backed into a corner. There's a lot of different things that needs to change. There is a sense of fear and worry and feeling anxious. And it's like every time you think about certain choices you have to make, it kind of leaves a pit in your stomach because you limit yourself. You think that it has to go one way or another. And when you think about each choice you need to make, you write a narrative on how it's going to go and what you think it's going to do. Like you use your imagination. And you're like, well, if I choose, option number 1, then it's going to lead me in a hard place. And if I choose option number 2, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna leave me with a rock in a hard place, right? So either way, each decision doesn't feel good to make. So you have incorporated over the years, pile number 1, this subconscious belief that choices is pain. That having to decide is pain. So it's kind of almost easier to sit on the fence, or it's almost easier to not make the decision. And it's almost like that making a decision is going to set you free, but then it's like to have to deal with the repercussions of said decision, or what if you did end up making the wrong choice. So this pile has a tendency of overthinking, especially when it comes to things that are big decisions. But I think that you guys may get even a type of fatigue where you're always just kind of tired because you overthink, because you worry about all these decisions you have to make. Even like what to eat, what you need to wear that day, leaving 5 minutes early, all of these different little things you do, every little action you take is a choice. And I feel like you've been making habits and choices that have not served you. And it really scares you because you feel this need to run away or to push it back, procrastinate on taking actions. And I think a lot of it has to do with, again, childhood. I think you guys dealt with a lot of disappointments, a lot of frustrations, feeling misunderstood. I even get that sometimes your actions were misconstrued, that people misunderstood your action, that maybe that some of the actions you took was based in love and not to be conceited or have contempt in it, and people could have mistaken that and it projected that onto you as well, making you feel bad for trying to help. All of these little things that just kind of add up over time wears you out. And then I feel like you deplete your energy by overgiving. I think you want to be there's a part of you that almost feels like you're not worthy unless you overgive. And so your actions are now your way of showing, it's like your own worth. You do to prove yourself, right? We do things to show we care, to show we love, but I think with this pile, it's deep-seated in a subconscious way that you need to take certain, like you, when it comes to you, you have a hard time, you hesitate on taking certain actions. You know exercise is good for you, or you know certain things are good for you, but you keep postponing it. But when other people ask you for help, you'll drop what you're doing and go help them because you think that doing for others is what brings you the love, because you almost feel like you're not enough unless you do things for others. So you make choices based around other people's perceptions or other people's wants and needs, while your wants and needs go to the wayside. This is like the pile that struggles with really discovering their true desires, right? Like, what is your truest desire? And again, I do sense that this pile, you might have a general direction in which you think you're going in, but it may not even be as authentic to yourself as you were hoping or wishing, because I get this sense that for this pile, your choices are heavily based around other people and not yourself. And that needs to be cleared. Because I am getting that this is what's kind of stopping you guys from really reaching up to your highest potential. You allow what others think of you, or you let their actions dictate who you are. What does my pile number 1 need to heal at this time? So we have the Sun, 10th house, reputation, and Cancer. There could be a double-sidedness to you guys. How can they heal? How can my pile number 1s heal? Semi-sextile, allowing, going more with the flow. 8th house, intimacy. 3rd house, perception. Some of you guys, you need to learn to take radical action. Learn to put yourself a little more first. So let's do some clearing here. Pile number 1, I feel like you guys have really struggled your whole life. I do get that your family could have had strict image issues as well. Like they needed you to act a certain way or be a certain way to be loved. There was heavy conditioning. Maybe even when you go to school, you felt like you needed to be a certain way to appease friends. And that just led on to your life. There is something, I think, definitely going on here with your Sun. You could be a Sun in Cancer, but you don't have to be. I am definitely getting here that with the energy, this has definitely over time started to wear on your self-esteem and your own self-worth. Some of you guys have gotten to the point where you don't even realize your true talents anymore because you have denied yourself so much. This pile feels like you guys have deprived yourself for so long that it's almost, and don't take this the wrong way, pile number one, but you may even be considered thirsty for attention because you have not been giving yourself the proper attention that you've been needing to do. I feel that you guys have this hardened exterior like a Cancer, but super soft on the inside. So you guys pretend to act a certain way that you think others will perceive or let's put it, will receive you. And you guys may even be the chameleon pile where you guys have a tendency of fading in and out and you show a mask to different people. So, for instance, you just read other people's energies and you kind of get the idea of what somebody would want you to be and you embody that. It is a gift, but it can also be used in negatives. With this pile, I feel like you guys don't use it in a negative way. I think you genuinely want to just be liked and be helpful. But I do think on a subconscious level, it's this fear that your own being is not enough. When we are just comfortable being in our own body and not needing to impress or put on a show, then will you be able to truly feel and be felt, seen, and heard. I get that for your guys' career too. You might have to put on an image. There's something here where there's certain things that you feel restricted and it comes to your career or just in public. When you go out and about, you just feel like people are watching you, people are judging you. You need to put on a certain behavior. A lot of this is an unconscious level. It's not like you're consciously like, hey, let's be fake today, you know? So it's nothing like hard feelings or anything. It's just the energies that I'm picking up that could be healed and cleared out of our system. Our nervous system just holds so much when we are stressed or frustrated or when we've had a traumatic experience. If it was never fully processed, it stays in our system and we go over it over and over and over again. So we never get out of that fight or flight or freeze or fawn response. And because of that, it makes us do weird behaviors. So if somebody, for instance, has been traumatized in believing that they're not physically attractive, they will do little habits that will make them physically unattractive. And it's just because they're operating from that point in their nervous system. What you hold on to is what you become. So that's why you can always get bad intentions from people, and it's because they're holding a lot of negative energy, a lot of betrayal or hurt in the past that people have a hard time letting go of. And sometimes, all it takes is a little bit of love, a little bit of understanding. And I just get with this pile, you guys have gone through a lot, so no shame, no judgment here. I do get that there's been a lot of disappointment and a lot of not being seen and not being heard, feeling like you didn't have a voice and you really did not have a choice. You felt like you really had to just do what other people asked of you and not really argue back or not really, like there were certain stipulations to being loved and you just had to do what you had to do to survive and to get the love that you already rightfully deserved. So it's like having to clear out all of that energy, all of that misbeliefs that you have about not being enough. You felt a constant state of rejection from self, that I do get that it's hard for you to have intimacy with others. It's hard for you to truly let yourself be seen. This is like the pile that maybe even romanticizes a little bit, and maybe you get tricked. It's like that helpless romantic, and I think that for some of you guys, it's having to gain that actual true perspective. But this pile, I do get the sense that you've been disappointed with your parents, and that led to disappointment with certain friends, as well as partners, people that you date, people that you married. But definitely something about the public eye here, something about being afraid of standing out and wanting to go after your purpose, but perhaps feeling lost because maybe with this pile, perhaps you feel like you don't know what you want to do as a career. Like maybe you have an idea, but there is this sense of lack of direction and lack of purpose. But a lot of the issues too is that you guys just do not allow yourself that space. I feel like this pile is in a rush. You feel like you always need to be improving or doing something. This is like my self-help pile. I think a lot of you guys look at self-help books, or you do certain things to try and help yourself. But you think things need to be done now. Like there's a sense of impatience. And again, very limited on your choice. And there is a fear of change. You know you need change, and you can feel, this pile feels like you guys are on the verge of change. And I almost get the sense that you want the change, but you're afraid of what will come with it. Because change has its negatives and positives. And every time you guys had to make a choice, it seemed like, again, not a very happy one. So let's clear that. But yeah, definitely something to do with your family. Your own self-expression. I think you've had a lot of authority figures that put you down too. Perhaps you guys even could have dealt with the law at a young age, or have just had a lot of punishment growing up. This pile didn't have much freedom at all to make choices. And I think that the next phase that you guys are kind of coming into is allowing yourself to have more choices and more options. And that kind of scares you. There's fear behind the change. There's fear behind the what ifs. But you need to allow yourself. There's a lot of potential that you guys have that needs to grow, and you need to allow yourself to change the cycle. Now it's time to reap your harvest and your good actions and the rewards that you try. I feel like this pile, you tried to break old habits, even when it was a big struggle for you, even when you didn't know the clarity and you didn't know how you were going to manage it. And I get that you guys will pass through this, but there's a lot of resistance that you have, which I think is another reason why it's so painful for you to let this change occur. A lot of your guys' past investments are actually going to start to come forward for you. I am getting that you guys are going to get good investments. You guys are going to get, I'm getting a contract to a new house or a lease. Some of you guys, you are changing. Another thing that I get that this pile is coming into is the creative energy flow. You guys are embracing the energy of creativity. Your Kundalini energy. So some of you guys may be even noticing weird sensations in your belly, or you may notice weird sensations down your spine. And it is like your Kundalini energy awakening, because I do get that you guys are moving through it, especially with whatever is happening right now. So this is a timeless reading, you guys. So whenever you guys get this reading or you see this reading, whatever is going on astrologically at the time of that you're watching this reading is going to help you guys shift into being more creative and tapping into the natural flow of life. You are not your past, you are not your present, and you are not your future. You guys are an infinite being that has no limits and has truly no limitations that the mind can create. So you guys get stuck in your head a lot and you have a hard time moving past certain beliefs. Again, it's this all or nothing that the little 2 or 5-year-old self created. And that's what we are breaking and we are releasing, and we're giving space and love for that part of you, the inner child, to kind of be healed and to know that it is okay to make choices and decisions. Another thing as well is I feel like a lot of you guys are gathering your guys' thoughts. You guys are going to be able to actually truly heal yourself through researching, through writing down your ideas. A lot of you guys are going to be surrendering to social cues or social status. Some of you guys are, like I said, afraid to be judged by others, and now you're going to learn to just accept who you are, even if other people can't or will not see it. I feel like this pile is in the process of learning to truly surrender and really allow yourself to be. So you guys are really gaining clarity and insight. Pay attention to some of the things you watch on social media. I do feel like social media is a thing. You're going to see something and it's going to click in, and you're going to make sense of something that you've been wanting to work on or heal or create, and it's going to help you guys. But I get that a lot of you guys are really going to be working on having deeper intimacy with yourself, which is ultimately going to help you lead to deeper intimacy with others. Choosing to forgive yourself and anyone else that may have contributed to this pain. Clearing out any frustrations that you may have. Giving yourself the ability to know that it's okay to have choices, to have options. Sorry. All right. So let's see what archetype needs to be let go of. What archetype, or at least needs to be healed or processed. Addict. What will help my pile number 1 heal? What will help my pile number 1 heal? What will help my pile number 1 heal? You guys are a student. You're learning right now. I saw the prostitute card come out twice. When I put it back in, I was like, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So you guys have had perhaps addictive behaviors, whether that's to food, alcohol, drugs, people, situations, even just gossip or drama. We can get easily addicted to the chemical highs that produces. So one of the things that I think was keeping you guys stuck is in this constant habit of feeling that you need something, the codependency of it. And for some of you, it really was just a person, that you felt you needed somebody, or that you had to have some kind of approval. There was some kind of an addiction you had that was feeding, or at least it felt like it was feeding that inner wound that you had. This pile may have I'm getting two different types of people, but I'm mostly getting some of you guys maybe have a very high sex drive. And I'm not saying you were a prostitute, but maybe you guys had a lot of casual sex. Or like, again, with that addiction. We also got the trickster. So a lot of you guys, this is what I felt like by hopeless romantics. Maybe you guys got played a lot. Lied to a lot. And it's almost having to forgive yourself for putting yourself in that decision, right? Putting yourself in that situation. The choice to walk away or the choice to stay. Everything that I guess has led you to this point was by choices. And I think that that is ultimately what is being healed right now, is the fear of punishment, of making choices, and that doubt. There is a sense of not trusting yourself. You're doubting yourself. All right, clearing up the rest of this energy. Let's bring more positive energy now into this reading. Let's incorporate a little bit more positiveness into the reading itself. There's no reason to feel bad for the choices that you've made led up to this point, pile number one, because your choices is what made you become a stronger person. If you didn't have certain mistakes or certain things that you've gone through, it would not have humbled you. You would not have seen the bigger picture of things. You would not have helped or have reached out to as many people. You guys truly have helped a lot of people. Even when you had difficulties and I feel like for this pile, you've had your times and periods where you were ashamed or felt like you were not enough for others. But I do sense that, again, this pile has always been there for people. And it's like taking that time to give ourselves a little bit more love, a little bit more care. Giving ourselves the permission to actually just release and let go of things that bug us. Some of you guys could have been shamed for your promiscuous behaviors, or even lack of, depending on who that resonates for, because I'm getting different types of people with different types of sexualities. But I do feel like your creativity is what is expanding, pile number 1. Remember when I said going with the flow, getting into the cycles, your Kundalini energy is now starting to activate and awaken. And it is because when you learn to make choices, you're setting yourself free, you're choosing better choices, which ultimately leads you down a different path than the one that you are currently on. Sending love to the part of you that is afraid of change and that is afraid of making the choice, because it does take courage to change. And I do get this feeling that for my pile number 1s, you guys are starting to awaken this divine energy inside of you that perhaps you've suppressed over the years. Because, sex or sexuality is a very taboo subject. And we have here the 8th house. And I'm just getting that for a lot of you guys, you have released a lot of shame and a lot of guilt. And your guys are starting to kind of awaken that desire, that passion again, which I do feel like was been blocked since childhood. And now you're releasing that and you're clearing it and you're allowing yourself to move past this. You're giving yourself the permission to let it go, to heal. And because of that, I actually feel like you guys are going to start improving yourselves, giving yourselves the permission to actually be who you were meant to be this whole time, instead of this false persona. You don't need an addiction to make you feel whole, right? Because it's almost just a temporary release of pleasure. And I think that you guys are trading in cheap pleasure for true, authentic pleasure, for something that is going to sustain you long term instead of short term gratifications. You guys are now going to be able to see through people's tricks, and you can almost spot a toxic person from far away now. Instead, in the past, perhaps you would let just anybody into your body or into your energy fields. And this is something too, is it was this lack of discernment, this lack of self-respect and love for yourself, and you making those choices now to get out of a certain situation or to not allow other people to take advantage over you or to use you. You're letting it go now. And because of that, you're growing and you're expanding, and you are actually going to have much more creativity flow in. If you guys were artistic as a child, whatever that you guys used to do as a kid that you loved doing, that might be a good idea to pick up that hobby and redo it again. Because I get that this is going to help you guys heal, is by doing hobbies that calls out to you, or doing things that call out to you. Make the decision, make the choice to make different choices. It's giving yourself the freedom to stop doing the same thing over and over again and choose a different choice. Because you have multiple options, pile number 1, and when you can wrap your head around that, doors, windows, chimneys, everything is going to open up for you. And you, like, the second you thought one door slams, you're going to have like 5 more doors open up. So you are very abundant, and it's learning to get rid of the it's all or nothing mentality here. And we really are clearing that out, aren't we? Learning that not everything is in black and white. There is grays and different shades in between. What works for one person is not going to work for another. Learning to accept the differences of others. Learning to accept yours. And then moving accordingly. See, when we are growing up, we're told, oh, we need to get married, or we need to go do this, we need to get a job, we have to go to school. We were taught that this is how things are. But with this pile, you're learning that not everything has to be one way. That you yourself have the right to do what makes you happy, right? As long as we're not physically harming anyone or doing anything to intentionally harm another human being or animals or whatever, when we're trying not to harm another being, not intentionally, then it's nothing wrong with trying to go after your own love, your own hopes, your own desires. If it's with good intention, because what's best for you is ultimately what's going to be best for everyone else around you. Because when you start to take accountability and action and choices, when you decide the choices that are right for you, it's going to inspire others to do the same, but it's also going to give yourself the permission to freeing yourself, giving yourself no limits. Right now, pile number 1, sky's the limits. You have the ability to reach very high. And it's having to clear out this doubt, knowing that you are capable of actually making the proper choices in your life, that you can trust yourself, that you have better judgment and discernment than you give yourself credit for, that now you can see through people's masks and illusions. You guys have worked very hard, and I get that you guys have been doing the work in releasing this codependency that you have with this addictive card. And I feel like you guys are actually clearing out that energy, even if you're in the process of still doing so. You guys are releasing certain shadowy aspects about your sexuality and about the creative flow that you have. Some of you guys are going to start changing the way that you, like for instance, if you guys had a tendency of, being hot down there and wanting to just do it, instead you're going to learn to channel that energy into creative goals, right? You're not wasting your life force energy anymore. You're using your discernment. You're choosing to open up and actually be more intimate with yourself before you're doing it with another. And I also get that feeling too that you guys are really healing through trauma that you may have faced as a child. And for some of you guys, this is definitely, unfortunately, trigger warning, some sexual trauma that you have experienced, and it is being cleared. Learning to just kind of forgive ourselves from the past and everything that kind of happened to us, and knowing that it's not actually your fault for what has happened to you. All right, you guys. Let's start grounding the energies now. Let's just start solidifying and grounding the energies of this reading. Allowing ourselves to settle into our bodies more. Giving ourselves more of a permission to heal, to work through these energies. Knowing that we are worthy of love. We are worthy of choosing our own direction and life purpose. No one gets to decide for you. You get to decide what it is that you want. You get to decide what it is that you need. And if others cannot fulfill that for you, you can do it for yourself. And if you can't, then find someone that will, right? We need to realize that not one person can just do everything for us. We need to take accountability, do stuff for ourselves, but also knowing other people's limitations as well. Just like how we have limitations, others have limitations, and some people cannot give you what you are asking for. And learn to not take things so personally. So just grounding ourselves back into our bodies, taking in deep breaths, giving ourselves the permission to take the chance today to choose something different. Choosing a different way of being today. Whether that's driving in a drive, instead of taking the same drive home, maybe go a different route. That's a choice. Instead of always eating the same lunch over and over again, maybe changing up a food. Instead of watching TV, maybe go for a walk. Every little choice you make adds up to new experiences and adds to new opportunities. And my pile number ones, if anyone deserves to have new opportunities and new choices in life, it is you. So grounding in that knowing and allowing ourselves to release any toxicity that is left or lingering, giving ourselves the permission to actually just let it go. It really is just a choice, you guys, to let go of whatever is bothering us. It's crazy as it is. Everything we do is a choice. How we feel is a choice. What we think is a choice. How we react or respond is a choice. So taking full responsibility for your own well-being, giving yourself love, honor, respect, and know that you are enough. Choosing to ground that energy into the body, giving ourselves permission to love ourselves, permission to heal, work through this. The energy should come through the video for you guys to give yourself more love, more healing, more grounding energy. Knowing that we are worthy of love and respect. All right. So it is pile number one. So I want to know what your guys' opinion are for this reading. I just had the idea today and I just thought it would be fun to actually just do a reading and just see if we can actually at least loosen the energy and break it down so that we give ourselves the opportunity to actually heal this energy. And really all it is just a choice to accept the energy that comes through the video, to accept that perhaps we don't know everything, that it's okay to not know everything, and just giving ourselves that permission to make choices and to get ourselves unstuck, because when it ultimately comes down to healing, really is just a choice. It's really what it is. Everything that we do comes down to a choice. And I feel like pile number one, you guys are going to start seeing shifts and changes throughout the months, throughout whenever you guys see this reading all the way through like 6 to 7 months. You guys are going to start noticing your choices changing, your habits changing. And eventually you guys are going to get to the goals, the place that you want to go. And it's knowing that, everybody has their own unique energy stamp. Nobody is the same, energetically speaking. And a lot of you guys are going to kind of come to that conclusion that you are worthy of love, that your sexuality in of itself is its own unique blueprint that no one else can mimic, that no one else has the power. So it's like you're going to learn to step into your own power. You're going to learn to make better choices. You're going to learn to be more creative, which is also going to help you think outside the box a little bit more, because creativity is linked to that. I feel like a lot of you guys are going to be allowing yourselves to let go of codependency And again, that black and white thinking, it's a really hard one for everyone, because it's just, I notice it sometimes in myself, and I'm like, man, I didn't expect myself to really have such a black and white view on something. But it's really easy to do, because as a child growing up, we only saw things in black and white. We didn't realize that there were a lot of morals and a lot of different reasonings behind certain actions or behind certain things. And so it's very easy to misunderstand people and situations. And I do get the sense that with this pile, you guys are working through that dualistic lens, that way of seeing other people and perspectives. And I feel like that is what's going to be shifting. And I do sense that for some of you guys, you're going to be definitely going through and healing any type of relationships you might have with your siblings. Even if it's just forgiving them internally, I do sense that that is something that could potentially come up here as well. Because again, healing really is just a choice. And when we can finally get to the point of truly just accepting or deciding something, then will we really start to see the changes. Then will we really start to heal and really move past it. So that's really all I have, again, for my pile number ones. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, especially if you stayed all the way to the end. I wish you guys healing on your journey, and I hope that this helps you guys in some way or another. So thank you so much. Have a great and wonderful day, pile number one. Bye. All right, those that have chosen pile number 2. So this is a Reiki symbol of universal power. So power and your chi energy, your life force energy. And this is an amethyst crystal. So I have no idea what is this pile. I didn't see any of the cards, so this is going to be kind of fun for me. So I'm going to be incorporating the 3 of these pendulums with you guys today. So we have here the chevron amethyst. Chevron amethyst is clear quartz with amethyst. So it really gives you guys really clears your mind, really helps release a lot of negativity, helps you see the bigger picture of things, and it gives you guys a different perspective. And it just, like I said, it clears the negative energy. It clears blocks, mental blocks, emotional blocks. So I'm going to be incorporating that one as well. Here is my favorite pendulum that I've had since my childhood, and it's near and dear to my heart. It's got a cool coin on it. I am in love with it, you guys. Very beautiful. Bloodstone. Bloodstone is an abundant stone. It is the symbolism of life and brings positive energy everywhere it goes. It is a stone that represents healing and also just courage. If you really think about it, it help us really have courage and helps us kind of find our fire again. So we're going to use that one as well. And then, of course, we're going to use this as a grounding tool towards the end of the reading. So this is a red jasper, very beautiful, has a lot of healing qualities, grounding qualities, and protective qualities. Anytime we be doing any type of energy work or healing, we want to ground ourselves afterwards so that we can embody it and so that our body has a chance to really heal through whatever happens. So the energy is going to be infused with the reading. So as long as you sit back, relax, and you allow it to impact you and you allow the energy to heal you, it will do its job. If not, you have that right to just listen to the reading. So we're going to kind of see here what is the main thing that we need to work on healing today, and then we're going to just kind of go from there and incorporate. So again, this is kind of new. I've never done this before, but I'm really excited about this. I do have a feeling that for this pile, obviously, just due to the Reiki symbol of power, that I do feel like you guys are stepping into your power. So we have here inner child, playfulness, lightheartedness, innocence, and wonder. All right. So Ooh, pile number 2. I find it interesting because pile number 1 was about choices, but both of you guys have the solar plexus chakras. And it's interesting because the solar plexus is your power source. And so it's interesting again that this is the symbol for power. And I feel like a lot of you guys are in this process of learning to become more lighthearted in your decision makings and in your life. So let's start clearing out any of these negative energies that we are picking up on in this reading so far. So for a lot of you guys, you were shamed for being playful and having fun. There could have even been a time in your guys' life where being playful could have got you hurt or someone else hurt, and that really could have traumatized you. And I do get the feeling that, as a child, we're meant to come into this world innocent. We're meant to come here to be curious, to have that curious, playful, innocent energy inside of us. And I just get the feeling, you guys, that you have gone through situations where people have tried to steal your innocence or your wonder of life. So I feel like for you guys, what you are really working through is, even though it's the solar plexus, I do get this sense of healing your heart chakra as well. I feel like this pile has gone through a lot of sadness and perhaps even grief. And I think that for a lot of you guys, it's kind of almost grieving the innocence of this child inside you. So we go through life as an adult, still as a child inside, that it's been bogged down with responsibilities and things that we have to take care of. And I get the sense that for this pile, you had to grow up very quickly. You came from a home where you had to learn to become independent, or you had to take care of siblings, or you had parents that really were childish themselves, and they just did not teach you properly how to mature and grow up. And so for this pile, it was a lot of touch and goes, having to figure out how to be an adult, having to figure out how to do things on your own. And I think it developed this persona of independence, feeling like you don't necessarily need anybody. You can do everything on your own. And this is from a wounded place that this energy is coming from. I do get that this pile might have a tendency of being too serious sometimes, or overly, like you're either too cautious or you're not cautious at all, right? So there is a little bit of an influx in this reading. I'm picking up different people. Again, this is general. So the healing of this is going to be broad and general, but I do believe it will send loving, healing energy. Learning to clear away anything that's keeping us from receiving, playful, allowing us to have that imagination again, that sense of wonder, that anything is possible. A lot of you guys have grown to become a little bit cynical because you've lost that sense of wonder, that imagination, the curiosity that you have as a child could have been squashed or squandered. There was somebody here that could have shamed you for being childish or for trying to lighten up the mood when a situation was serious. And you're really learning to release a lot of these pent-up traumas that other people have put on you. Gaining a higher insight and a higher knowledge and wisdom. I'm also getting that taking back your power in this, because in life, we do have a tendency of looking down on being playful at times. And, being a child, we don't really give ourselves that space or that room to be a child again. Because even as children get shamed for being who they are. And a lot of you guys have had that where somebody told you that you were not, that almost like you were broken. You had people telling you that you were broken, that who you were was defected, and that you needed to change your behaviors. You guys had a lot of boxes and a lot of labels put on you at a young age. Like, oh, this person has ADHD, or this person has this issue, or this person's a little slow. Like, you had people being really rude to you, you guys. Telling you that because you had a lot of energy, or because you were one way, that somehow that was wrong. And so it's having to learn to let go of other people's opinions that ended up becoming your belief system. Your inner child took that upon him or herself, and accepted what others said around them about them when they were just projections and they were not truth. So let's start pulling some tarot here, get more into this energy, and let's just start clearing some of this up for you guys. Choosing to clear the energy now. Releasing anything that's blocking you from your inner child. All right, so what is blocking my pile number 2? What can my pile number 2 heal from? Yeah, your childhood, where you grew up, the home that you lived in, was unstable, was unpredictable. Some of you guys could have even been in foster care, or have just been in a situation where you really had to just grow up very quickly. Some of you guys had to make choices at a very young age. So how can my pile number 1s heal? How can my pile number 1, my goodness, pile number 2. How can my pile number 2s heal? My pile number 2s do to heal. A lot of you guys have dealt with people who are very deceitful, who only cared about themselves. So start healing some of this now as we're talking. You could have had family members or people in your life growing up that only cared about themselves, very selfish, one-sided relationships. And they forced you in a way, or at least, let's say not forced, it just felt like you had no choice. As a child, we are very vulnerable to our environment. We are very receptive to everything around us. And so I feel like you guys got the message from caretakers, from people around you, that you needed to compromise a part of your innocence, that you needed to grow up, that you needed to take on burdens and responsibilities. Felt like you could have been a therapist for a parent, listening to your parent talk. They dumped a lot of emotions on you. You had to go out into the world at a very young age and experience life, and I felt like you guys had a lot of disappointments and a lot of things that kind of threw you off guard. People doing things that you could not believe that people were capable of doing. I feel like this pile has seen some of the darker sides of humanity, and I do get this sense of questioning yourself, questioning people, and, learning to have to clear that out, right? We're clearing this all out for you guys. It's giving yourself the permission to see things differently. You guys felt like you didn't have many choices. And again, there is this hesitancy to starting over on something else. So I do get this feeling that this pile, you had to learn to become practical. And sometimes the Fool right here is not a very practical person. You were taught to not trust your heart. You were taught to go against your own gut feelings. You were taught to release certain issues, right? You were like, oh, well, I can't be upset because then my mom will be upset that I'm upset. So I have to hide that from them. I have to deny that I am upset about what they said or did to me. So there's a lot here that you need to unpack. That there's a lot that needs to be worked through energetically. Giving yourself the permission to actually clearing out the space that you need to heal. You guys went through so many disappointments and so many types of different frustrations and setbacks that it really required you guys to have to find a way. It's like you guys have to learn that it's like you guys learned independence at such a young age that you have a hard time receiving help from others, receiving the benefits of the actions you take. Say you do something and you help somebody and then they offer to pay. You're the type of person that may turn it down. Like, oh no, I'm just here to help. Because there's a sense of, it's kind of similar to pile number 1 in the regards of needing to do action to be loved. But with this pile, it's more of your entire, it's like this need to be, it's this need for safety, right? You want to feel safe. And so you try to do anything in your power to be liked by people, to be safe. And I do feel like for a lot of you guys, you put a lot of your own, you need to learn to put the love, pouring the love into yourself and not into others. Knowing how unique and special you are. You were never taught, you were never told how unique and special you were, pile number 2. You were overlooked for your talents. You were never seen by your parents. It felt like you maybe had to fight with siblings to get attention, or you had to do certain things to gain approval or attention. And it's almost like you felt like you had to put on a show for attention. And there is this duality in you that feels like you're afraid to start something new, but you will be successful if you did. But you play things safe. You play things very safe in your life, pile number 2. But I get this sense that a lot of you guys feel like you're lacking power in your life, that you're lacking this will, this drive, right? This ambition. You guys are very ambitious, pile number 2. Oh, I am picking this up heavily here. We need to clear out anything that is blocking your ambition, because I get this feeling that you guys are extremely ambitious. You are very ambitious. You have a lot that you want to achieve. You have dreams and goals, but you've had a lot of people around you that have stolen from you, took from you, lied to you, and you're having to learn to figure out what's other people's baggage and what's yours. So I feel like pile number 2, a lot of people put a lot of baggage on you as a child. And so you're walking around carrying guilt, shame, confusion that's not even your energy. It's someone else's that you just absorbed, right? So with this pile, what you need to learn is boundaries. I don't think boundaries was a thing in your childhood home. I get the feeling that you could have had people ransacking your room, or you just couldn't have certain privileges or privacy. You had to always tell people what you were doing. Like you were kind of like a prisoner in your own home as a child. Learning to clear that, learning to release that energy, that emotion that's built up inside of you. Just allowing and giving yourself that permission to actually let that go. That it's actually okay to be creative, to be playful, to have that naivety, that innocence. I think you guys were ashamed of being naive at times. And it's having to have that permission to release that now. It's okay that you were naive, and it's okay to be naive. Giving yourself the permission to just kind of let things go. There was a lot of times in your life that you felt very uncertain, and you might have even let fear or a lot of fear in your own imagination stop you from going after certain things that you want in your life. I think that you also have goals and dreams that maybe have been squashed, right? People telling you that you can't have this, that you don't deserve this, that what you want is unrealistic, and learning to decide if it's unrealistic truly for you. Because it might be unrealistic for that person, but not for you, right? So it's almost like coming into this understanding, pile number 2, that you have a lot of unique qualities and a lot of unique spiritual gifts and actual just talents in general. Some of you guys can sing, draw. Some of you guys have like an eye for color, or it's like very artistic. This seems like a very artistic pile to me. This also just feels like somebody that enjoyed going out and doing sports, having fun, being active. I think that you guys were very active as a child, and you enjoyed doing several different things. And I just feel like you guys were taught, or these people were jealous of you, pile number 2. Even adults, adults can be jealous of children. I think it happens more than we think. And I feel like this person was jealous of you and wanted to stifle your growth and your creativity. And somewhere in your subconscious, you accepted that as truth and you allowed it. And so you kind of kept yourself stuck. Clearing away other people's baggage that's not your own, giving yourself permission to move forward. It is safe now to put boundaries and barriers up. It is safe now to release this energy. It is safe now to move forward in this energy. Giving yourself the permission to move on from this energy. there's really no need to hold on to it anymore. It's old stuff. It's not even your stuff. So it's easier to let go of other people's baggage when it's not your actual baggage, right? So giving yourself permission to just clear out what's not your baggage. Giving yourself the love and the respect that you should have had as a child. I feel like this pile doesn't think that it's safe to set boundaries. Clearing away any of that fear now, that it is safe now for you to have boundaries, to have the ability to set boundaries. And I feel like you guys are very successful people, or you're on the road to success, you guys. So really needing to learn that you have a lot more going for you than you do against you. Clearing out all these fears and misunderstandings of other people and your childhood. Letting go of the need to not ask for help, allowing yourself and allowing others to come in and help you. Not everything needs to be done by yourself. It's safe now to release and let go. It's safe now to let this go. I get the feeling that what's going to help you guys is, again, there is like people have installed into you a self-doubt. And I feel like you guys, when you were a child, your inner child was extremely sure of yourself. You knew who you were. You knew what you came with. You had the talents, the skills, the love. You guys were, you guys were the stars. You guys are amazing. I think you guys are entertainers. You guys are funny. You guys have a lot of positive energy around you and just in your own energetic field and aura. Oh, I keep hitting these. But you guys do not see that inside of you, but others can. So people try to stop you from truly shining, which is unfortunate because that just means that they didn't see that in their own self. Everybody has something that's unique, special, that is a light inside of them. And when people see your light's brighter than theirs, they want to dim yours down so that they look better, but it just makes it worse for everyone, including that person. And I feel like now it's time to shine your light. You are a divine being, choosing to see that now, choosing to clear that now. Anything keeping you from seeing your truest potential and your truest form. Honestly, you guys, you have a lot to offer people, and there's like a lot that you guys do. There's a lot that you enjoy. And I feel like you guys have a lot of creative ideas. You guys have a lot of amazing gifts and talents. And I think that you guys need to start picking those back up again. Things that you used to enjoy as a child, you should do now. Some of you guys are just very naturally gifted with certain things that you maybe even forgot about, honestly, because of the traumatic events from your childhood. But I feel like you guys are in the process of clearing this out. Give it some time. You guys will get epiphanies. And if you guys get a gut feeling to go somewhere or to pick up a hobby or to do something, as long as you're being safe and responsible, I say go for it, right? Give ourselves the permission to do things that are childish, giving ourselves the permission to just let go, right? Let loose. Give ourselves the grace, the space, and the time to just be playful, to just be lighthearted, to just do things that you want to do as a child, right? It's okay to color outside the lines. It's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to go through life and worrying and, knowing that even though we have the fear and we have a lot of worry, that we'll always be okay, that we're always divinely protected. Clearing away all these fears and misconceptions about yourself. You are not broken. You are not defected. Nothing is wrong with you. You do not need to change. You are perfect in who you are and what you are. And really all it is just clearing out that baggage of that mumbo jumbo, all of the misbeliefs, all the lies we tell ourselves, just learning to clear all of that out of our system now. We don't need it anymore. It doesn't serve us anymore, and it's okay to release. And giving ourselves the permission to do so. A lot of you guys were smart kids too. Like, I hear that some of you guys were too smart for your own good at times. Like, this is the pile that's like the little kid that gives the little snarky comments or would upstage teachers. You were that kind of kid. You were a very outspoken child, and I think that really could have upsetted a lot of people because you were raw, authentic. You just said what you felt. And I think you unfortunately were around a lot of people that couldn't handle the truth. And so you lied to yourself now to keep people around you happy. And we can just clear that right now. It is done. We don't need to hold on to that anymore, right? Take back your power. Taking back your power in every situation, every instance that you had to deal with people. All right, you guys, so let's start pulling some more cards here. What can my pile number 2 do to help themselves heal? What can my pile number 2 do to help themselves heal? We have here Jupiter, Venus, Pisces. Some of you guys have to learn to allow love in and just go with the flow, right? Give yourself that permission to heal, to grow, to see the potential in things, to keep the hope, right? So let's see here. How can my pile number 2 heal? How can my pile number 2 heal and grow? All right. And then we have Taurus here at the bottom of the deck. Some of you guys are very beautiful, honestly, because we have Taurus here, the bombshell. We got Venus. So I think some people here, let's start clearing this energy now. I can just sense it, you guys. Some people are very jealous of your external appearance, your beauty. You guys are very beautiful, or you have a unique way, and I think you draw people in with your unique beauty. I think you had a mother or somebody in your life who could have been jealous of your beauty. I'm also getting as well, again, with Venus. Venus is all about beauty and art and just the aesthetics. It's the sensuality, right? It's enjoying, indulging in our senses. So smell, touch, sight, hear. You guys would, as a child, engulf yourself in your sensual senses, right? You would be like, okay, well, maybe when you eat your food, you enjoyed it, right? You enjoyed things about your life. And I think that did upset a lot of people. Another thing, too, is I am getting for you guys, you don't have to be a Pisces or a Taurus or a Libra or a Sagittarius or, a Leo, right? You don't have to be any of these zodiac signs. But I do feel like you guys exhibit this higher knowledge, this enthusiasm, this beautiful way of viewing life. It was very feminine, I'm getting very feminine energy, but there is also this sense of dedication to seeking the truth. You guys were the truth seekers. You guys seek for truth. And I think that a lot of people did not like that about you. They tried to stunt that in you, and now it's time to release that baggage. Right, it's time to allow ourselves to clear that. So we are choosing now to clear out any type of misunderstanding, misbeliefs, any traumatic event that was taking place that has impacted our inner child. We're choosing to let that go now with love and kindness. Maybe even giving ourselves an energetic hug, giving ourselves love and compassion. You guys had quite the imagination, though. I feel like you guys could have been the daydreamers, the kids that could have just kind of like gone off in your own fantasy world, especially because I feel like your home life wasn't the best. And so escaping into your mind was your way of protecting yourself. But I feel like you guys were very charming as children. You were very adorable, very adaptable. You guys had this this way about you that would draw people in and want to give you attention, and that really upsetted some people in your life because they felt like they didn't have that in themselves. I think you were dealing with a lot of envious and jealous people, pile number 2, and I feel like you are still dealing with jealous and envious people in your life, because I get the feeling that you guys have a lot of talents, have a lot of skills, and I just don't think anybody truly nurtured you and loved you in that way that you needed for those skills and for those talents to truly thrive, you know? People saw you as lucky too. People were jealous because things seemed to just go your way. You just seem to have this thing about you that make people jealous. Because we got Chiron, even though this is in the the healing section, because we have Chiron here, Chiron is an asteroid, and it is the wound that will never be healed, but you can heal others, right? So the way that you heal the wound from Chiron, if you read astrology, it basically, it's like this wound you have a hard time healing in yourself, but you can help other people heal it. And in return, that helps heal you. So you guys have a purpose. That's what I feel, especially with that Chiron there. And the sun. And the sun is just being, being yourself. Clearing out all this baggage of misbelief, misconceptions. I think you guys have dealt with just a lot of, especially family members, just doing terrible things to you guys that I feel like were just really unfair and was just for no reason, and maybe that was hard for you guys to accept, that some people are just terrible in that way, like we can understand, yes, that people go through trauma, that other people have got their own issues, but when they put it upon us, it gets really hard sometimes to forgive them. It gets really hard and it even makes us feel guilty for hating them for how they treated us. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of complex, confused emotions that come in with trauma and come in with abuse and other things. So we are healing this now. Ooh, you guys, my thing broke. Did you see that? My pendulum. I just heard a piece of my poor little thing and it just flew right off. So look, it broke. We are definitely healing some things here. The fact that my poor pendulum just chipped. Shedding away old, releasing. I'm sad now. That's sad, but it's okay. We're letting go of challenges here, you guys. You guys are letting go of challenges. And this is something, too, that is going to help bring you ultimate healing, is the challenges. You guys really are going to release a lot. I get the feeling, too, with you guys, is you had this magnetism about you. You guys are like a showman, You guys are like these people that are stars. People that... it's almost like you were meant to be in the spotlight. You're meant to shine, pile number 2. You're not meant to hide away. And I feel like everything that you've gone through is not going to be in vain. You are healing, you are moving forward, and you're going to heal. I mean, this thing chipped, and normally when a crystal chips, there's significance to that. So let's pull another cards here. What archetype are you currently in, and how can we heal this? What archetype are you currently in? What needs to be healed? Oh my goodness, we had more than I thought. Here, let's pull these again. Oof. Oof. So we have the Hermit, Student, Don Juan, the Scribe, and the Heroine, the hero. You've been around a lot of people who've judged you guys, who put unfair judgment on you, who told you guys a bunch of lies about yourself. But you guys are like very seductive in nature, pile number 2. I don't think, like, this is more of a masculine energy, but it can be still very feminine, right? So you guys can be feminine people watching, or masculine, it doesn't really matter. But Don Juan, I mean, he is a charmer. So you guys are charming, you guys are students, you are learners, you are curious, you're fascinated with life. You guys are also isolating, though. I feel like you guys isolate yourselves from people because other people have hurt you, have wronged you. And that's the part that I think needs to kind of come to light. You being in a hermit mode, though, did serve you to healing a lot of this trauma that we're already going through today. But I just get the feeling that you guys are really healing through this. You guys are very, very smart, and I feel like you guys have a lot of knowledge, too. You guys are very curious people. And I just feel like you guys have that tendency of being a sponge, though. You absorb other people's energies. And I think that's another reason you isolate yourself with that Hermit card, because when you go out and about, you can feel that other people's energies, and then it makes you tired, it makes you sick. And then all of a sudden you come back and you feel better just being in your own space and in your own energy. But you're needing to learn that your gifts and your qualities is something to be admired, is something to be seen. So you guys need to get out of your comfort zones more, right? We need to clear that energy, clearing the fear of change, getting out of our comfort zones, not being afraid to face the challenges, because challenges is how we grow. So you guys are dealing with a lot of issues right now. You guys are going through a lot right now, pile number 2, and I feel like it's only making you guys stronger. It's helping you guys learn more, and it's up-leveling you in some way. So learning to embrace these challenges. All right, I'm going to change pendulums now. I'm definitely cleansing my poor pendulum. I can't believe I broke the tip of that, but hey, you know, I think you guys are breaking free here. Let's bring some more positive energy to this reading now. Let's bring more positive energy. You guys are going to be healing from what you've learned. You guys are students, you guys are learning, and you're releasing. And now, because of all this knowledge you know, you guys are going to incorporate that into your guys' life. We're clearing out old patterns of beliefs, old habits, and making way for new habits, new beliefs, new energy, taking back your power, allowing your inner child to thrive and be happy, taking back your power. You guys used to wait around for other people to save you, but you are the one who is destined to save yourself, pile number 2. You are independent, and yes, others can help you, but ultimately you have to be the one to pull yourself out of the situation, to give yourself the ability to let go of what has happened to you. You radiate, like your own being, the way you radiate your own energy is very healing towards others as well. And that's another power that you do not realize that you really have. You guys have a healing presence about you, pile number 2. You have gifts and talents that can help heal people, and you need to learn to embrace what you've gone through, because you have a very unique story, pile number 2, that needs to be told, that needs to be that you need to start to incorporate into your life and overcome the challenges, because I feel like when you start to overcome challenges, it gives other people a real reason to do the same. I feel like they're going to see you do it, and it's going to give other people inspiration to do the same. A lot of people that are around you are just jealous because of your charm, because of your beauty, because a lot of people do desire you. And I think it's also because, again, pile number 2, you guys are strong. You've gone through a lot. You faced a lot of diversity and challenges, and you guys are coming back up on top. I feel like you guys have had a lot of struggles and a lot of hurt, but those hurts and struggles is what makes you guys more beautiful, and is what is forcing you guys to actually evolve into a better version of yourself. So healing anything that is blocking you from actually being your true authentic self, healing the inner child, allowing yourself to have more of a positive energy, releasing anything that is kind of keeping you stuck in your heart, your solar plexus, any energy points in the body that is blocked, allowing that to get released, giving yourself permission to release itself. Allow yourself to heal, move through these issues. No longer lying to yourself, clearing away any misconception you have about yourself. You are not broken. You are not a burden. You are a gift, not a burden. Learning to heal that, see that, feel that, understand that. Choosing to embrace that. Moving on, passing through, giving yourself the permission to embrace the inner child. It's okay to be lighthearted. It's okay to release any burdens, especially burdens that are not yours to carry. Giving yourself permission to sort out either of these burdens. Learning to place boundaries where there needs to be boundaries. Protecting that inner child with boundaries. It is safe to do so now. This is a very unique pile. I feel like you guys have a lot of healing abilities. You guys have a lot to teach people. I feel like you guys are the student now, but the student becomes the master. The student becomes the teacher. You guys are going to be using that a lot in your life. It feels like once you guys accept who you really are, that's when things are going to start flowing in easier for you. Giving your inner child the permission to be a kid again, giving yourself the permission to cry, to let go of any energy that you feel is keeping you stuck, right? You deserve that. You deserve to let go of anything that's not your baggage to carry, and doing so with no guilt. It can be easy. Healing yourself can be just like that, instantaneous. It can take months, it can take days, it can take seconds. The choice is yours. The ability is yours. The power is in your hands, pile number 2. And boy, are you powerful, because people wanted to stop you. And why, right? Why would people want to stop you if you weren't powerful, if they weren't threatened? So learning to heal through this, learning to release the traumas, And just choosing that not everybody is going to be jealous of you. Not everybody's going to wish for your downfall. And gravitate to those people, right? We're clearing away any energetic blocks and ties we have to other people that have taken away our power and bringing our power back to us. Bringing our power back from time, space, and all events, people, time, and situations. Bringing it all back to self. Doing so in a loving, healing energy. Purifying the energy and healing inside ourselves. Releasing any issue that you have for your inner child. Gaining higher wisdom, higher insight, better understanding. Clearing things from our DNA. Releasing, letting go. All right. Positive energy. Whew, pile number 2. This feels like a lot of heavy energy, but it's good to take our power back. Let's start to ground this energy back into our system. Let's start to actually take time for ourselves here. So starting with this red jasper, we're going to start going through here and grounding this energy, giving ourselves permission now to feel grounded, to feel loved, to feel seen. Giving ourselves the permission to ground our boundaries, to heal ourselves, to be aware of ourselves. And it's okay to be more comfortable in our own skin, giving ourselves the permission to do so. Grounding ourselves, releasing any other blocked energies, giving ourselves the right. All right. Pile number 2. It is safe for you to set boundaries. It's okay to say no, and it's okay to protect that innocence that you have. It's okay to have the innocence, and it is okay to be playful. It is okay to get lost in our imagination from time to time, right? Giving yourself that permission to actually just be yourself, knowing that you have everything you need to heal. You are your own hero. You don't need other people to heal you. You don't need other people to tell you what to do. You are your own being. Taking that accountability and the responsibility that you have for yourself, choosing to ground that in the being. You guys have a very unique energy imprint. Just your being alone helps other people. I feel like you guys really do shine, though. You really do stand out from the crowd. I think you guys do have a beautiful aesthetic, a pleasing energy about you, pile number 2. And I feel like you guys draw in a lot of attention. And it's knowing that sometimes you even get negative attention just as much as you get positive attention. So focus more on the positive and don't give in to the negative. Now is the time to really ground yourself. Really, truly see yourself for who you are. Giving yourself that permission now to really release, to let go, to heal. You guys have a life purpose. You guys have a lot to offer people. You are very healing. You guys are teaching people to grow. You're allowing people to learn to be more soft too. You guys have a very feminine yet masculine combination, and I feel like you guys are actually healing both your masculine and your feminine side, and it's teaching people that they can balance that as well. I feel like you guys are really balancing those two sides to you. You guys are really learning to kind of come more into your own, and because of that, you're going to start seeing better, newer opportunities. Don't feel guilty for taking opportunities that come your way that are actually good for you. Again, you guys deserve the very best. Your inner child has been wounded for a very long time and deserves to be loved, grounded, nurtured, and supported. So you have every right to set boundaries. You have every right to take back your power. We are grounding that is fact. So you guys have a lot of healing that you've done. And I think that this is going to actually help a lot of people in the future to ground and to heal. Whatever information you are learning about now, I feel like is also going to help you in the future and other people as well. You guys have a keen eye for gathering information. You guys are very good at kind of finding what is going to be right for you. But I feel like you guys have every capability to getting yourself out of this emotional trap, mental trap, and even a physical trap that you feel stuck in your life. I feel like you guys are actually taking back your power and releasing any negativity that is stopping you. Really just grounding back that energy. And so it is. So this is what I got for my pile number 2. My goodness. You guys are very interesting people. I feel like you guys have interesting stories. I get the gist that from my pile number 2, a lot of you guys, you did not deserve the treatment that you had as a child. You were around a lot of jealous people and people that were envious of your gifts and your talents and just who you were as a person. I feel like you really had a lot of people that did not know how to receive you, that did not know how to respect you. And I get the sense that a lot of you guys, you've had your boundaries stomped on. You've had people tell you you're worthless or they try to dim your light. But I feel like you guys are still so powerful that even when they try to dim your light, people can still see the light inside of you, even if you were not capable of seeing it in yourself, pile number 2. And I feel like you guys are coming into this newer understanding of yourself and those around you. So I get this, that pile number 2, you guys are actually moving forward in your life. You guys are going to overcome these challenges and obstacles. And I just feel like you guys are teaching people, you're showing people by example how to be their own heroes, how to use the information that's around you and use that to get yourself out of a terrible situation or to get yourself to a better place than what you are at currently. And I feel like you guys are learning to take back your power. And when you start to take back your power, setting the boundaries, telling people no when you want to say no, you guys are actually giving other people as well the permission to do the same. So you're teaching people by example, pile number 2, not only on how to treat you, but also how they should be treating themselves and other people around them. So you guys are kind of really teaching people how to, it's like not let other people take advantage of them, right? You guys are really going steady. You guys are very passionate, loyal, caring, kind, generous people. And I feel like you have unfortunately been around a lot of people that did not give that back to you in return. But I'm telling you, pile number 2, that you are very valuable and everything that you have gone through is only going to serve everyone and yourself much later on down the line. Because I feel like a lot of you guys are still kind of in the thicket of the woods, but eventually you guys will reach that mountaintop and you will see things for what they truly are and the highest perspective. And I feel like you guys are going to start to see things really, truly for what it was instead of what you think it was. All the misconceptions, all the things people said to you, you're going to start to see the jealousy, you're going to start to see the envy, and it's going to really help you guys learn to let it go, because it's not your fault that people are jealous or envious. It's not your fault that you've gone through what you've gone through, but at the same time, I do get the feeling that you guys are going to learn to move on from it and not let it control you, not let it take from you anymore. So you guys are really actually just stepping back into your own power again and not letting other people take from you anymore. So I feel like you guys are actually really setting those boundaries, really setting into your power, and you guys are starting to see the results manifest before your eyes. So that's really what I have for my pile number 2s. I hope that this resonated for you guys. I hope that this heals you or helps you in some way. Let me know what you guys think about this reading, if I should do more Reiki with tarot. I thought that was kind of fun. Like I said, it just kind of came to me today, so I just thought, hey, let's do it. And I enjoyed it. So I hope you guys did too. Thank you so much for being here and tuning in. I hope you guys have a great and wonderful day. Thank you so much, pile number 2. Bye. All right. Last but not least, we have our pile number 3. So how we're going to be doing this is we have 3 pendulums that I'm going to be using. Each one has their own unique properties and their own unique purpose. So I thought it would be really fun to incorporate Reiki in with our tarot readings. So the energy is already going to be embedded in the reading when you watch it. So as long as your soul or gives me permission, oh my gosh, I can't even talk, you guys. If you guys accept the healing that I am giving forth, then you guys can actually just accept it and take in the healing. If not, then I mean, it is what it is. So I thought it would be kind of fun to do this. I have here chevron amethyst. This is a clear quartz with amethyst. This really helps get releases a lot of mental blocks and emotional blocks, as well as actually seeing things for what it is. So it kind of gives you a different energy. It helps you just kind of release and let go of things that just do not serve you. So I thought that we'll be using this for the majority of the time. And then here is the one I hold near and dear to my heart. I've had it since I was a child. This beautiful bloodstone. I mean, look how cool the coin is and everything. Like, it is beautiful. I love this. It's very precious stone. So bloodstone can be a very abundant stone. It represents and gives off the energy of the life force energy. It brings in positivity and helps kind of just release negative energy as well. So I'm going to use this second to kind of help just give the positive energy that we need at the end of the reading, because honestly, we don't know I have no idea what these cards are, and so we're just going to kind of get into it. And I think that this is a good idea. And of course, here we have red jasper. So I like to use this at the end so we can really use the energy to ground the reading and to ground the energy of healing and just kind of give ourselves the permission to protect ourselves, release energy, and to ground ourselves. So it's really important that when we do energy work that you ground yourself at the end, so that not only do you learn to embody that energy, but also it gives us more stability in our life, because it's really hard to go through the changes, right, of healing. So, and I think I forgot to mention this to the other 2 piles, but drink water after this. You are doing energy work as well. So I thought this would be kind of fun to kind of incorporate both things. So let's get into it, you guys. You chose this Reiki symbol, and this Reiki symbol is emotional mental healing. So this also represents oneness in self and the universe, or in God. So it's a very powerful, Reiki symbol. I think for a lot of you guys, you have been trying to work on your mental health and your emotional health. So let's get into this reading and really see what is going on here. So we have gut instincts. Okay, can I just say this? pile number 1 and 2, and now your guys' reading all had solar plexus, because the yellow cards is the solar plexus, and that's all about your power, your intuition in a way. You know, people don't really think of it like that, but your gut is its own intuition. You know, it has the same, a lot of people don't know this, so I'm going to just say it because this is a cool fact. Your gut actually has the same cells from your brain, so it has its own memories, its own, and it communicates to your brain. So your gut and your heart have the same cells as your brain does, so it communicates all of it together. So your brain, your heart, and your gut all communicate. And so it's interesting to think about. So when you trust your gut feeling, it can still be very logical, but it's logical more on a primal level, I think, than it is on a logical level, right? So it's kind of hard to sometimes trust our gut feeling. Sometimes it's really hard to allow that because of it, because we get this feeling of like, oh, well, it doesn't make sense, so why should I do it? But like, your body is communicating with you in that moment. That's what a gut instinct is your body saying, go do this, go do that. And it's its way of protecting itself. It's its way of knowing if something's a threat before your brain can even know it's a threat. So it's really important that we learn to listen to our gut feelings. But I just thought it was interesting that everybody had, you know, solar plexus. So it's like, this must be the time right now. I mean, currently as I'm filming, it is Leo season. So this is a timeless reading though, but I do feel like everybody is kind of trying to take back their power, trying to regain their sense of self, you know. And I think that I'm going to start the healing now. If you guys, you know, your soul's permission to access and to help release any negativity and any blocks, right? Especially any blocks that are keeping you from your gut instincts, keeping you from your body's wisdom. Your body always holds wisdom. It always holds knowledge. It always knows what's going on before we even do. It is really, when it comes down to it, in a lot of ways, our intuition. You know, we always give credit to the third eye, saying the third eye is our intuition. But, you know, that is only one form of intuition. There are several different ways that you can define intuition. And I think that for this pile, you guys are going to start really trusting your gut instinct. And I think that you will clear the blocks, not just because I'm doing Reiki, but also I just feel like this pile is very determined. You strike me as a very determined person, pile number 3. You guys are a lot more stronger than you give yourselves credit for. I feel like you guys have a lot going for you, and you might not even be aware of it. This is very interesting energy here that I am picking up for you guys. Learning to trust your gut instinct is going to really give you guys the sense and the permission to start to actually strive for your goals. I feel like you guys are going to reach heights, pile number 3. But you have to trust your gut feeling. It's like you guys know it too. Like, you feel it. You feel it on an intuitive level. You feel it in your body. You can sense it. And I think that for you, that has been really difficult. It's been really difficult for you guys to release and let it go. Because, like, every time you go against your gut feeling, I get the sense that you guys are like, why did I do that? Like, you knew. Like, your gut instinct is around, it's present, you can sense it, but you always sometimes doubt yourself, or you have a hard time trusting yourself when it comes to making that decision. Because, you know, sometimes, you know, a lot of the times we have time to make choices and decisions. Like, when someone asks us, I don't think people realize this, but we have the time to sit for a second and think about it. Like, 90% of the time, we can do that. We don't have to make a quick decision. We don't have to just go instantly or talk instantly. Like, we can pause and take in the question and think for a second and then give a response. We don't have to rush. And I feel like this pile, you rush. And I think that's another reason is your gut instinct is telling you to slow down. It's telling you, like, hey, you need to listen. You need to trust yourself. You need to trust me. It's like you do not have trust in your own body even. I feel like you guys, I don't know. I'm picking up some messages here. I feel like some of you guys could have had a lot of issues, like had to go to the hospital a lot, or you guys just got sick a lot. There's something about your body failing you in some way. A belief about your body failing you. Or having some kind of eating issues, right? Because we're talking about the gut here. You could have eating disorders, issues. But you guys don't give yourselves enough credit. You know what is right for you. You really do. And you know it on a primal, instinctual level. You know, I think you guys are very quick to know if someone has bad intentions or not. It's just a vibe. You feel it, right? You can feel it. And you feel it, and sometimes maybe it makes you anxious when you get that gut feeling, and then you panic. And I think that is what's throwing you off, is the anxiety that you get when the gut feeling comes up. And I think the anxiety is kind of this fear of it's like almost, it's almost like a sense of being threatened, right? Like a sense of like, if I do this, I might put myself in a vulnerable position. Or again, it's just something about not trusting yourself. There is this fear of pain and hurt, right? A lot of pain and hurt. And it's learning to just forgive yourself for that pain and for that hurt. So let's start clearing that, right? Let's start clearing this now. We need to start trusting in ourselves. Our bodies, you guys, are so intelligent. We do not give it credit. We really don't give it the true credit that our bodies really deserve. I mean, you guys, just what goes into the operation of just one cell in your body, it baffles me. It's so amazing. Our bodies are like magic, you know? It keeps itself alive. It can heal itself. It tells us when something is wrong with pain or discomfort, or we start getting issues, and it's because it's like our body's way of telling us like we need to take time out to be mindful. It's like our bodies do so much for us. They help us grow. It helps us evolve. Like, we need to be kinder to ourselves. And I think that this is kind of what is really something that needs to come up for you guys. So let's pull some tarot here for my pile number 3s. What is it that you guys need to hear at this time? And also, of course, what is it that you need to heal? What is it that you need to let go of? What is it that you need to let go of for my pile number 3s? Some of you guys have this image in your head of something that's going to make you happy or make you feel fulfilled. And I think that it didn't go the way you planned. a lot of disappointment in love and really close, intimate relationships. All right, let's pull for the other side. What is it that they could do to help them heal, to help them see, to help them evolve? You guys have a really hard time maybe even speaking your truth about certain things out of fear of being judged. Again, mentally, you're aware, pile number 3, that you have issues emotionally more than you do mentally, right? So it's like you're learning, like a part of you guys feel crazy. Like you feel like you have, because it's like you trying to rationalize your emotions is what I'm trying to say. So you rationalize your emotions and you tell yourself, I should not be having anxiety attacks. I should not be feeling this way. And all it's doing is reinforcing you to say that this emotion is wrong. So what happens is you start to resist. And what you resist persists. So you guys are in this resistant mode right now of really just giving yourself that permission to feel, to process. The gut, they say if you have gut issues, like I have gut issues. I have had digestive issues since I was a kid, okay? It is not fun. But, you know, they say that the reason that a lot of people have digestive issues is because so emotions are like information, right? It's just the same as when somebody says something and we logically think it. Our emotions have their own set of logic, as you could say. What it is, it's a feeling, it's a sensation. So it is in of itself just another sensory thing letting you know something is going on in your environment. So when you feel something, which is the feeling, that gut instinct, it is the body recognizing something is off, something's going on. That is what your emotions are. And so when you're feeling that way, what's happening is you are telling yourself, you're wrong. I don't want to feel that. And so what you're doing is you're pushing it away. And so you're not digesting the information. You're not allowing it to be processed through the body. You're not allowing yourself to feel what you're feeling and then judge what's going on around you off of that feeling, right? So what you're doing is you're tensing up, you're not allowing, and so it's not leaving the body. And oftentimes that's why we have digestive issues, is because it's like our body's not digesting the information or the sensories of what's going on, and it has to. It, like energy, cannot be created nor destroyed, but it can be transmuted. So what's happening is you're not transmuting it. You're not taking in the full information, letting it pass through you, and then it's gone, you know? The Buddha said it, I think it's Buddha, I believe, said it the best, that he sees emotions and thoughts as friends. They come to your house, you have tea with them, you sit down, you talk to them, you understand them, you give them time to express themselves, to tell you things, you communicate back and forth. But eventually, those beliefs, those thoughts, those emotions, just like your friends, need to leave, right? So you got to look at it like that. They are just visiting you to tell you what's going on in your environment, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and then they pass through. And that's what we have to do. That's the state of the flow. You know, we need to flow in to this. Man, I think I'm doing more talking than I am actually doing Reiki, which I did for the other piles. But this pile, I feel like there's a lot of information. You guys are going through a lot, but also it's just like, for some reason, I just have a bunch of energy now, and it's just like exciting to do this reading, because I feel like for you guys, it's been a long time kind of coming. Like, this is something that I think is going to really set you guys free, but I do think it's going to cause some tower moments in your life. You're going to start seeing things in your life changing and shifting, and it might be a little bit scary here for you guys. So let's start using some Reiki here. Give yourselves permission to feel, right? The energy will be coming through the video. You'll feel it. It's up to you if you choose to accept it. But I do sense here, pile number 3, you guys have had a lot of issues when it comes to relationships. Intimacy, very much so. I think that I think it's because you had this emotional, you're tied to something emotionally. You're invested in this. You want this to be your reality, and there's something, it's like something about your childhood. You painted an image of a family or an image of how you viewed your life to be, and you cling on to that, and you're rigid about it. Because it's not really how it's going to go. And so you've had a lot of disappointments, a lot of letdowns. And for you, it's really hard to sometimes connect with your partner or to connect with people that you care about, because there is this feeling like you're not worthy of what you want, because it's like this thing that you imagine. It's like a fairy tale in your mind in a way, right? You perceive it perhaps as kind of like a fairy tale. And it's draining you emotionally. You're rigid about it. It has to be this way. It can't be another way. It has to be this way. And it's like you're not happy with the people that you're intimate with. You're not happy with yourself intimately. It feels like your choices perhaps are even limited. And what it's really teaching you here, pile number 3, what it's really teaching you here, okay, is that you need to, it's almost like, how do I word this? You need to learn to, first off, forgive yourself, because I feel like you guys have been very abusive to yourself and to your body, you know? I think you guys abuse your body. I don't know if you guys have cut yourselves. I mean, trigger warning here, honestly, you guys. This is a healing video, so obviously we're going to be going into some deep stuff here. Or if you ate a lot, you know, or ate very little. I don't know if you guys just ate a lot of sugar. Like, there's things like drinking, drugs, sex. I mean, you name it, you guys, you can abuse your body. And I feel like this pile has abused their body, and it's needing to learn to forgive yourself for that, because we all have been there. And I think everybody on this planet has gone through at least one period or phase or multiple phases of abusing their body. It's really easy to do, and it's just, I feel like you guys really beat yourselves up for that. It's like you try to heal yourself physically, you try to up your appearance, you try to do little things, and I feel like that's been hard for you because of these misbeliefs that, like, you're not lovable, that your body's ugly. You know, you have all these beliefs that I think that a lot of other people, I think this pile could have been bullied or had family members or other people around you constantly putting down your appearance, or again, I get the sense too of keeping you at arm's length, not really hugging you, not giving you the affection, the love. So you guys crave affection than maybe even the average person at times, right? Because sometimes you feel that. You're like, I'm the only one that seems to crave this so badly. So it's almost like you feel left out too. Like, oh, I'm the only one that feels this way, but you're not. You're around a lot of people that feel that way too, but you just don't see that. And that is something that needs to be healed. A lot of people around you have similar issues, and you are all just mirroring each other. But, like, nobody's either admitting it or noticing it, or they just don't talk about it. Like the elephant in the room, right? Everybody has that phase of going through it. And I feel like for this pile, you guys have gone through a lot. And it has been very difficult. And especially, I feel like for this pile with the anxiety, picking up that anxiety there, that doesn't help you. That makes you probably, like, especially when, again, with the gut, I think that because of this anxiety, you have a hard time eating or sleeping. Let's clear that. Clearing is just a choice. You know, you guys might even benefit for just watching the entire reading because, again, all of it is about your solar plexus. I chose them, but I didn't see when I pulled the cards, I just did this, literally. I'm going to show you. Like, I just did this. And then I got like a little section of a card, and then I just pulled one and I set it down. I didn't even look at them, you guys. And I got all solar plexus. Can you believe that? All the same chakra. So there might be a little bit of a message for you guys in each reading, in each pile. I just definitely feel like this pile has had not an easy time with physical relationships. A lot of abandonment issues, a lot of mother wounds as well, like abandonments. It's like needing to trust yourself too. I think you guys have a lot of insecurities when it comes to your lovers or people that you are with. Some of you guys are really ashamed of your bodies, the way your body looks, and so you have a hard time being near people or around people. Like, I'm just getting heavy intimacy blocks here. And that's why we're clearing it. Man, this has been like, and I just get that because you get that anxious feeling every time you get that gut instinct. I think it's old baggage. It's old baggage that comes up. So, because you'll be sitting there doing absolutely nothing, pile number 3, and all of a sudden you get this anxiety attack for no reason. And it's because it's your body's way of trying to get you to heal through an old traumatic experience that could have happened a couple of years ago. Like, you guys might have just gotten anxiety out of the blue and been like, I don't know why I'm anxious all of a sudden. And it's been like that for a while. And it could just be because, oops, I gotta be careful with this, you guys. It could just be because of some kind of traumatic event, something that could have happened with somebody that you cared about, a lover, a friend, somebody that you were intimate with, somebody that was super close to you that could have hurt you in some way, or could have said something about your body or shamed you in some way. There's definitely a lot of issues there. And that has just dragged itself to now, where now you're getting the panic attacks, you're getting the eating issues or the sleeping issues, or you're just having a hard time in general. And it's because it's your body's way of telling you, hey, pay attention here. You haven't healed something from the past. There's something here that you tell yourself perhaps that you've healed, but not has fully released it. So there could be denial here that we need to clear up. So clearing out denial from the body, clearing it out from your conscious mind, your emotional field, giving yourself that permission to really just release, honestly, that it's okay. Some of you guys, you have this fear of commitment and intimacy issues. So you're having a hard time truly committing to yourself even. And that's why you have a hard time trusting yourself. You guys have a very strong intuition, pile number 3, extremely strong. You can tell. Like, if you guys go to like a bar or you go somewhere, right? You go out and about or something. You pick up All right. You could pick up people's energy very well. And then you start to doubt yourself. You're like, oh, did I really, are they really bad? Did I really get that? And it's like, yeah, you're picking up a lot of stuff, and it's true. It's things that is telling you to be careful. So it's like, maybe, for instance, pile number 3, you get a gut feeling that this person you're talking to that may be a romantic interest is just using you, or has bad intentions towards you, or has the toxic traits, right? And your gut instinct's telling you, you know better, don't do this, and yet you choose that person anyway. You decide to go against your better judgment every time, and then you beat yourself up over it. And you need to learn to just it's like a vicious cycle, and we need to clear that out, right? That resistance, clearing out the resistance. Honestly, there's a lot of resistance here. Maybe you want to even do this reading a couple of times. As much of a pain in the butt it might be to have to constantly rewatch this, it might be some good for you to do this, to clear out your energy field. It's going to take you a couple of tries at least. This is some heavy energy here. Leave it to the last pile, right, to be very heavy. I mean, they're all heavy energies, but with this one, it feels very dense. It feels very like body, like very embodied. So we really need to get that out. You guys have been carrying a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety about being perfect, or about having to prove your worth. A lot of worthiness is what's coming up here as a blockage. The fear of never being enough. You could have had a partner who could have shamed your body, shamed you for your sexuality, or shamed you for something that you enjoyed, you loved. They could have said things about your body, or done things to your body that, maybe violated you, or done things to you that could have potentially hurt you. Yeah, let's clear that out. That's just old, stagnant energy that doesn't need to be there anymore. Choosing to kind of clear that out of your system, giving yourself permission to, we don't need, that's the thing about resistance, is sometimes we resist the resistance, and that makes it even harder, right? So we don't want to resist the resistance. We want to just accept that there is just that contrast, that there is that resistance, that there's one part of you that wants to heal, and there's another part of you that thinks that it's helping you by sabotaging you, right? It's misguided love. It's misguided information. It's a misunderstanding. And that's really what it is. A lot of times traumas can be just misunderstandings, How crazy to think that is. That sometimes we just misconstrue the information or the people around us. We think maybe they have bad intentions when maybe they didn't, or maybe they just had a bad day, and we internalize that as something wrong with us. And we just need to learn to let that go, learn to release it, learn to let it just fall off, Because the truth is we're all humans. We all make mistakes. We all have our own issues. And it's just learning to accept those issues and heal through them. And I feel like you guys are learning to maybe be a little bit nicer to yourself. You don't need to judge yourself so harshly. You have a lot more going on for you than you know, pile number 3. You guys are very amazing people. And I think that you've got dealt kind of a hard hand at a young age. I think you had to learn to adapt to your environment and to people around you. And I think that over time, it's wearing you down. I don't know why this came to my mind, but it did. And I love Jim Carrey. But he said, he had a quote, or at least he quoted, I don't know, that depression is just a body's way of telling you that it's sick and tired of playing the same role, the same character, and that it's time to heal. It's time to move on to the next character. And I think that's kind of what this is. It's time to get out of a role that you've been playing for a long time. You know, you don't need to just be one-dimensional, two-dimensional. You are this complex, multifaceted person that has your own unique tastes, gifts, abilities. No one is you. You have your own unique energetic print that can't be mimicked, that can't be copied. And so I feel like with this pile, you need to learn to embrace that part of you. You guys may have tried to copy other people, or maybe other people, like, you just felt like you weren't good enough, so you try to be or portray yourself to be something you're not, when you don't have to do that, because all the right people are going to love you for you. And I just get this feeling that it's all it is just having to clear out the gunk that's kind of hiding your true shine, you know? Your cracks is what lets the light in. It's what makes you glow. What you've gone through only makes you prettier. It only makes you stronger. And that's how you got to look at it, too. I think a lot of you guys might not even be seeing your body accurately. And that could also be an issue that needs to be cleared. That's like maybe mentally, when you look in the mirror, you see something that might not even actually be there, right? It's like an illusion of your own mind. It's learning to let all of this go, clearing it all out. Clearing out all this crazy making that we have. All the confusion and anxiety. You know, we worry about all these little silly things, and it adds up over time, you know, and we don't think much about it, but all these little worries can go away. Let's just clear that now, because, you know, we don't really need to worry very much, honestly, in our everyday life. We just need to get into that habit. You know, and it's okay to have a desire. It's okay to have a want and a need for that want. And, you know, I don't know what's going on with the whole Buddha thing, but, you know, Buddha said that the root of suffering is desire. But what he really, I believe, meant by that was, it's not the desire itself, but it's the resistance to the desire. It's the I don't have it. It's the lack. It's the not knowing how to get it. It's the jealousy and envy that can come from this fear of not being enough, having the lack. That's what's the suffering. The desire can come when you surrender to it, when you realize it's already here. You are essentially God in this world. Whatever you believe, it becomes law. It is like when you learn about the Hermetic principles, they talk about your mental space and how mentally you change. You can change your reality. A thought, so an item, something that has been manifested, right? Like, for instance, like this controller, right? Okay, this controller did not exist until someone thought about it. Someone thought it out. They designed it. They created it. So you can see that your thoughts create new things. It creates things. So whatever you want, pile number 3, if you want a family, if you want friends, if you want a close-knit relationship, if you want true intimacy, the only thing that's stopping you is all these little tiny doubts, all these little fears, all these little insecurities. No one else is stopping you. No one else is responsible for your happiness. If you suffer past 10 minutes, that's a choice. And it's choosing to give yourself the permission to let it go, to heal this now, to release it. And not only in that, but it's taking that time out to just sit there and feel it. You know, even if you just do meditations online, you know, there's videos for meditations. You know, there's EFT tapping, there's Reiki, which is what we're doing right now. There are so many ways that you can heal yourself. And sometimes even just taking time out to just say, okay, what do I want? What do I need? And then writing it down, or just doing something that would bring you joy for the day. Those little things add up, you know? I take time out of my day every day to process these emotions, to process these thoughts, and I think about them, and I question them, and I examine them, and I feel through them, and it takes every single day. It's like keeping up with your physical hygiene. That's how I think your mental and your emotional health should be too. And I think for this pile, it's interesting because this is that Reiki symbol of healing your mental and your emotional health, right? And I think that's what this pile has been trying to do all along. So let's pull some cards here. I get so worked up. This pile, man. Because I feel like I can resonate with this as well. It's not an easy thing to accept ourselves. It's really hard to actually be comfortable in our own skin. It's really hard to not let our own insecurities eat us up inside. It's really difficult to move past certain things, but it makes us who we are, right? It makes us unique. We are very, you guys are very unique. And I feel like learning to trust yourself more, right? Learning to love yourself more, giving yourself that permission. Like, you guys have very unique gifts. Venus too. You got Mars and Venus. You guys are learning to balance out your sexuality. You're learning to balance out your masculine and your feminine energy right now. You're just really learning to embody that, to embrace that. So how can my pile number 3s heal? What can they do to help themselves heal? Some of you guys have some planets in your 8th house in astrology that actually might explain some things too, because I feel like your sexuality and I feel like certain things about you is really what is also going to help heal you, but also show how it has been impacting your life. See, you guys have kind of a unique body. You have a unique way of dressing, or there's something about you that stands out that a lot of people actually find very attractive. So I think that you guys are kind of just not seeing the full beauty of who you really are here. So I do believe pile number 3, you guys are very Mars oriented. You take a lot of action. I do believe that you guys have a lot of desires, but I think that sometimes pile number 3, you can be a little impulsive. And I think that's another thing too, is like you go against your gut instinct, is because maybe your gut instinct's telling you to slow down, but you are like, no, let's go full force, you know? So with the 10th house and the 5th house. So this is interesting here. This is another reason I say maybe something to do with your sexuality, because the 5th house and the 8th house are all about sex, the houses of sex and intimacy. Some of you guys have sexual dysfunctions or have issues in that regard. Or just it's a problem for you in some area, whether you have too high of a sex drive, especially with that Mars there, or you have very little of a sex drive, or in between, there's something there. But a lot of you guys see I can never say these right. A quincunx is it's a kind of a complex placement, but honestly, it gives people a little bit of an edge. It makes people stand out a little bit, and it's also one that they consider a hidden talent when you have this in your natal chart. So I feel like for some of you guys, that's something that is going on for you. There's something that's very mystifying about you guys, okay? You're very unique. And I do see that maybe some of you guys maybe just need to quit your job and get a different job where you're working is toxic and it's just not good for you. It doesn't make you happy. It just overwhelms you. It's adding to the stress. Of course, again, this is a general reading. Like, be smart about it. Make sure you have another job aligned, or you know what you're gonna do if you're gonna be doing things like that. But I definitely feel like some stress is definitely going on in your workplace, and I think that is also kind of contributing to it because it stresses you out to work. It stresses you out because you have a bunch of like issues mentally or emotionally, right? Or not even issues that way. It's like maybe you just have issues with like your period or your stomach, or, you know, reproductive organs is coming up here because of the 8th, the 5th. I'm seeing here just like a lot of different things that is really showing up to me that you guys have. And especially with the 6th house here, that is all about your health and your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, your diet, your everyday activities, basically. I feel like you guys, your routine can use some changing. You need to change up your routine to heal this energy that you have. I think that all of the challenges that you have, you view them as burdens instead of, okay, what can I learn from this? So you need to change the way that you view challenges in your life, because you're always going to have challenges. Everybody does. It does not matter who you are. We're all going to have challenges in our life. So no one is exempt from them. So we have to learn to deal with them in a healthy way. So let's start clearing some of these blocks here to why we have a hard time perhaps taking action or having impulsive issues, right? Something about your childhood. I do get the sense again, relationships, intimate relationships definitely caused a lot. With the Neptune here, I do get the sense that maybe this is a lot of this is subconscious. It's not to the surface. It's not like some of this stuff is a conscious thing. And so that's why we need to clear this energy, bridge the gap between the conscious and the subconscious, choosing to release that from the body, giving yourself permission to just release things, stop sacrificing. There's a lot of self-sacrificing. I do get the sense that maybe some of you guys suffered with not really knowing your boundaries or other people's boundaries, especially maybe even physically. Some of you guys had a lot of confusion growing up as a child. Maybe you don't remember much of your childhood. There's a lot of blocks there. Let's clear those. Giving yourself permission to release a lot of this trauma that doesn't need to be there anymore. Choosing to let it go now. Healing through it. Releasing. Allowing. Choosing to move forward. Some of you guys need to know what you like and dislike, and then stick with that. Trust your gut. Some of you guys might even enjoy, this is super random, you might even enjoy like a color. Like say you like the color orange or something, right? But you think orange doesn't look good on you, or you have some kind of weird thing about the color orange, but yet that is like what your eye keeps getting drawn to, and it's like your gut feeling tells you to wear that color, but you're like, no, it's not my color. Or you have some weird, for me, like I didn't like the color pink. Until one day I literally just sat there and cried and like admitted to myself that I liked a color pink. I'm picky with pinks though. I like lighter pinks, pale pinks. But I thought that was so funny to me because I was sitting here denying the color pink, right? So some of you guys, you have these weird little things. It's either like you deny certain colors even though you like the color, but you don't want to admit it, right? There's a lot of denial here. Denial about certain things, and maybe it's because other people made fun of you for it or told you something. the opinion of others have stopped you from kind of expressing yourself fully. So like your style, the way you dress, or the way you do your makeup, or the way you do certain things, it's to appease others more so than yourself. And it's like learning to just embrace your natural beauty, embrace your creative side, embracing that creativity, knowing that you are unique, you are special, and that you don't have to compete, right? You don't have to compete. You are your own beauty. You're your own league, right? Whoever's attracted to you is going to be attracted to you. And normally it's like, we have such diversity in this world that it's just good to acknowledge that there's always people out there that's going to like your body type. There's going to be people out there that's going to like the way you look, the way you dress, the way you act. There's such a range of diversity that there really is no competition when it comes to dating. There's really no competition when it comes to a lot of things, honestly. I mean, competition is okay if you want, but it's like compete with yourself more so than others. And it's like learning to release the need to compare. Let's learn to just like let that go, clearing that from the subconscious. No need to compare ourselves to others. No needing to hold on to the past. This person in the past could have lacked self-love, could have been misguided, maybe just wasn't a great communicator. Person could have been jealous, had their own issues, and then they put it on you. But like, let's let go of this resistance, this rigid belief that things need to be one way, trying to fit things into a cookie cutter mold. Instead, just embrace what comes, embrace the flow. The river doesn't fight the current, it goes with the current, it goes with the stream. We don't need to fight it. We don't need to resist. I feel like a nerd. Resistance is futile. Just learn to let it go. Clearing it out. Clearing it out of your system. Okay. So I'm going to pull another card here just to kind of see what perspective, like what are you embodying at this time? What archetype are you embodying? Maybe one that's not necessarily serving you, right? Which archetype isn't really serving you? Okay, we got a lot here. We got victim, exorcist. I don't know why I can't say that. Fool. Mendez or minister. We also have here mentor. So, you guys have a lot that you could teach people. There's a lot here. I think that with that exorcist card, though, it could also just be like purging out these insecurities, purging out these demons that you have inside yourself, the shadows, the subconscious, the things that we just kind of keep to ourselves, we deny exist. We believe it's not lovable, it's ugly, it's not worthy. So let's see, what is a more healthier traits to embody? So we have here Samaritan, child orphan, scribe, beggar, guide, and then of course at the bottom of the deck we have trickster. So you guys got more cards than anybody else, I swear, but there's a lot of information here, a lot that was never digested. This trickster card, I'm getting here that maybe you've been around a lot of people who behaved in a way that was hurtful, in a way that wasn't kind. Even perhaps yourself is a little manipulative, right? Sometimes when we don't get our way, especially when we were victimized as a child, we learn these effed up behaviors sometimes, right? Manipulative behaviors. And it's never necessarily to be bad or that something's wrong with us. It's a way of behaving. It's a way of surviving. It's just trying to get your needs met, right? And sometimes we have to get our needs met in ways that are a little manipulative or a little bad. But a lot of the times it's unconscious because we're not consciously choosing to do it. So it's just behaviors we were taught. And I feel like that is something that is needing to be cleared now, choosing to clear that now, letting it go now. Releasing, allowing. No judgment here, guys. Honestly, this is just a reading to help you heal, to help you see anything that could potentially just be holding you back, and how we can move past it. We can move past it in several ways. And the quickest way is to forgive ourselves, to be kind to ourselves, which again, I know is easier said than done at times, but it really is just giving ourselves that permission. So I'm going to start moving in now to use this for more positive energy. Let's just start creating more positive energy for this pile, giving this pile the permission to heal, to allow itself to just release anything keeping us stuck. A lot of you guys feel really stupid. You feel really foolish a lot of the times. Perhaps people would have made fun of you because you were different in a lot of ways. And your unique quirkiness is what makes you stand out. It's what makes you unique and special. Just because other people were threatened by your uniqueness doesn't mean something was wrong with you. And it's like learning to not take things so personally. It's really hard to not take things personally, but really at the end of the day, it has more to say about them than it does to say about you if they're going to sit there and make fun of you for the way you look or for who you are as a person. So we're just really learning to clear this energy, give ourselves the permission to really just release this. You were a victim at one point or another, but now it's time to rise. I think a lot of you guys feel very alone for a very long time, and so you just really seeked that closeness and that intimacy with others. And it's like with that orphan child, right? We need to give ourselves that permission to fill ourselves, I think you guys have a strong desire to connect with yourself again. And you tried to connect with others as a way of filling up that hole, that wound. And we don't need to do that. We don't need to cause ourselves pain. We don't need to put ourselves in bad situations. We are lovable as we are. And all we're craving right now, I feel like pile number 3, you feel like you crave physical affection, or you feel like you crave the, it's like getting your approval, but really you're just craving your own physical affection. You're just craving your own approval. And it's having to figure out a way to stop directing it to other people and focus on yourself, right? So what makes you feel good? What can you do to love yourself today? And it's like taking it day by day. You don't have to make it hard. It doesn't need to be hard. And it's just changing one habit at a time. So I feel like your routine can be changed, and that would help. And again, seeing challenges not as a bad thing, not as a curse, but as a blessing. Challenges force us to grow. It helps us get out of our comfort zone. So releasing the resistance towards our challenges, releasing the resistance towards just this shame and guilt we have towards ourselves. We all have done things we're ashamed of. We all have done things that we feel guilty about. It's time to let it go. No more punishing yourself for things that maybe you didn't have control over, or, when that little child inside yourself, learning to just forgive yourself, love yourself. Honestly, you guys might just need to watch the whole tarot reading. Drink lots of water afterwards and give yourself that time to heal. If you feel like crying afterwards, cry. Give yourself some permission to just do what you want to do. Take time for yourself. Stop focusing on others. Know that you are worthy. of your own attention. You are worthy of your own time, and you are worthy of your own boundaries. You can set boundaries with people. You can tell people really how you feel, and you can do it in a kind way. We don't need to be rude. But I definitely think that you guys need to learn to trust yourselves more. And by trusting yourself more, you need to get into the habit of not abandoning yourself, not leaving yourself behind. Choosing to choose yourself every time. Giving yourself that permission to know that you have your own back. So let's clear anything that's keeping you from doing so. Sending positive, loving energy, transmuting any negativity, especially from the body, the stomach, sexual organs, anything that is kind of blocking my pile number 3. Clearing it all out of your system, your energy field. Giving yourself that permission to really heal things, really see things for what they are. All right. Beautiful. Now let's just ground it here with this Jasper one. Just grounding the rest of the energy. It's always good to ground afterwards, especially doing energy work. Choosing to ground, being embodied. Choosing to love my own skin. I love being in my own body. I love being in my own skin. I'm choosing to befriend my body. I'm choosing to listen to my body. If my body tells me it's tired, I will listen. If my body tells me it's hungry, I will listen. If my body tells me something is wrong, I will listen. Choosing to take a second, you have time, you can step back, you can observe yourself. You don't need to give an answer right away. You don't need to rush yourself. You have time to make a decision. Choose to follow yourself, choose yourself. Learning to ground yourself, learning to know that you are worthy of choosing yourself. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of being seen. Knowing that, grounding in that, holding that, choosing to embrace it. Clearing it out of our system now. You know, giving our body a little bit more praise, more credit, right? Because without this body, you would never have a physical experience. Without this body, you would never know what it's like to taste things, touch things, feeling things. You know, you wouldn't be in this plane of existence. You wouldn't be learning these lessons. So learning to have some gratitude for our bodies, for our existence. Learning to know that we are a gift, that we are special, that we are love, that we are loved as well. Choosing to ground into that, choosing to know that. Choosing to know that on a subconscious and cellular level. Clearing any energy blocks, grounding ourselves back into reality, grounding ourselves into knowing our own worth. Choosing to embrace ourselves, choosing to love ourselves, releasing patterns, old blocks, old behaviors, old people, choosing to let go of the past. The past does not define me. Past is not who I am. Choosing to clear any misconceptions about the past, any beliefs that no longer serve me, no longer is for my highest good. Clearing it, moving on, choosing to let go. All right. So pile number 3, I hope this helps you guys because this is some intense energy and I wish you guys the best because honestly, this is not an easy thing. I do get the feeling that for a lot of you guys, this is something that has been pushing you to really grow, to really expand. And I feel like you guys are very intuitive and it's just learning to trust yourself and know that you know what's best for you. So stop listening to other people and learn to listen to your body, learn to listen to yourself and give yourself patience. You know, it's okay if it takes you a little bit longer to get ready, if it takes you a little bit longer to answer an email, or say you get anxiety when you have to make a call. Give yourself the permission to feel that way. give yourself the ability to clear that. Allow that to pass through you. Give yourself the time to digest the information, the feelings, and then proceed. It's okay if things take you a little longer, because right now you guys are just trying to get back into trusting yourself again and building that foundation for yourself. Really, you're really just healing yourself at a core level right now, pile number 3, and it's giving yourself that love, giving yourself that permission, and knowing that you know what is best for you. So that's what I have for my pile number 3. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope this helps you in some way. Thank you guys. Have a great and wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.